Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Top.
Wow, really? Was like several hundred episodes? 200 at least, I know. And you did that. You did that. Listener, you need to understand. We don't have high production values. It's not like we do several takes. We never... but how many times have you heard him fuck up that intro? And I guarantee you we've re-recorded it maybe 3 times.
I think 3 is accurate.
Oof. We're talking about E3, everybody.
I wasn't going to leave any of that in. I was ready to re-record. But
No.
He's made it into a bit.
No.
And we all know that he beats me, so...
Always listening.
Jesus. Welcome to the Two Nerds Podcast. We are indeed talking about E3. I thought this was one of the best E3s.
Just period?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty high praise. I don't know that I'd go that far. I would say it's probably the best one in at least several years.
One of the best E3s qualifies it as the best one in several years.
I'm not willing to extend my qualification back to the beginning of the Electronics Entertainment Expo.
We got a lot of great news, though, and for once, we don't have a bunch of shit in front of us. We didn't watch a bunch of trailers in, preparation. We just, watched what we liked and saw news on things, and I feel like there's enough to talk about in that. And that tells you something about the quality of the E3 we went through.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some stuff, and let's be clear here, listener. I was not, journalisming. I wasn't watching all the E3 coverage to get all the news. I just
no, we're not real journalists.
Pay me and then maybe. But I was just sort of watching, looking into what seemed interesting. There was a lot of stuff that was interesting. And a lot of stuff that I was excited for. And a lot of stuff that I was way more excited for by the time I was done looking at the coverage for it than when I first heard about it. But where should we start, do you think?
Well, I know there are a couple of topics I could talk at length about.
Pick one.
In that sense, I was going to say, why don't you talk? Because I don't want to fill this podcast with Batman or us being upset about a specific wrestling match.
Okay. Well, let's see.
This would be the perfect time for there to be a Batman game.
God, wouldn't it just? Sadly, no. You know what? I'll mention something that got some buzz as far as I could see, but is not like a big AAA title that I saw that looked interesting to me.
Okay.
12 Minutes. Have you heard about that?
I sure haven't. This is fantastic. Talk to me.
12 Minutes is a top-down, story-driven game.
Okay.
That is, near as I could tell from the trailer I watched, because it says this directly, a thriller about a man stuck in a time loop. Okay. It takes place entirely in, the central room and, what you can see from the doorway, maybe, or the various different rooms of a small apartment with a man and his wife, and shit happens. You find out in the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler, that, at the very least, he says that, as a previous part of the time loop, he has been informed that at least someone believes his wife or girlfriend killed her father. And various other things. It is a story about a man in a time loop trying to escape. Presumably taking place over the course of 12 minutes.
That sounds really cool.
It does. It's top-down. It's which is a very interesting perspective for a story game. Mm-hmm. Not something I see a lot. And it's a very, very self-contained little game, and it looked really, really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by that. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to try to pick something. In brief, the Mortal Kombat DLC was announced, all but the last 2 characters. By the time this podcast goes up, it should be out in all regions for Shang Tsung. And we've also got Sindel and Nightwolf and Spawn. And 2 mystery people who are probably definitely not Ash and the Terminator. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So that was a cool bit of news. I was kind of surprised we didn't get more Mortal Kombat info. I guess their seasonal whatever the hell those things are called anymore. Everybody's got their own season things now. That started today. But
games as live service started today.
Yeah. And the way they're doing it is pretty cool. Most of these people do those things are pretty cool.
Games got to make money, man. I'm not hating. I'm just not interested.
I'm not even sure that's like... I think it's just to encourage soft tournament play, competitive play, as it were.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a buy-in
to keep the game from dying out.
Mm-hmm. Well, and NetherRealm games have a long life cycle.
Because they take their time on the next one because they want it to be good. And NetherRealm still does have the creepily good facial animation, so good for them.
Yep. That's a soft bit of news. Here's another soft bit of news that I won't go too far into detail on. We finally have actual gameplay of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And a release date, which I forget the exact date for. But
I think it was March next year?
Sometime next year. I know another game we'll be talking about later is in March, but it looks good. It looks different, but it looks good. And they're spending 2 Blu-ray discs in Midgar.
Yeah. What is the total?
I don't know. They haven't said yet. Just that 2 Blu-ray discs for Midgar.
Oof. That's a lot. Why?
Well,
I looked this up earlier because I misremembered that as like 4 for the whole game. Because I just misremembered what you told me, and I was telling our other roommate. But like, he looked up how much storage is in a Blu-ray disc. A dual-layer Blu-ray disc is 50 gigs. So that's 100 gigs of data for Midgar? That's ridiculous. That's excessive.
I think the quality of the graphics and the amount of dialogue might have something to do with it.
I'm a little worried that, given the size of that storage, that it might just be a movie.
I've seen it. Well, it's. I wouldn't quite go to say spectacle fighter, but it is an action RPG now. So there's a lot more in place other than hitting your fight command and watching a thing happen. So. But it looks interesting. I'm definitely more interested than I have been in it since it was announced.
It looks really good. I saw the trailer. I'm not any more or less interested in it. I was kind of interested in it. And, like, that's about it.
Of course, going along with the Final Fantasy VII remake is the fact that they're remaking and remastering Final Fantasy VIII. Not in the same scope, but, like, they're updating the models.
Yeah.
It's great how they've remade and remastered Final Fantasies 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 8. John just over the moon for this.
I'm sorry, like those are, it makes sense. Those are the non-incredibly niche Final Fantasy titles that no one knows about. Yeah,
3, 2.
Yeah, exactly. those are the most popular entries in the series, I think. Final Fantasy 3.
Definitely.
Gotta get that onion night.
It's a solid game. I like the remake too. Their quality.
But you salty though.
I just feel I'm hurt. 32 years spent fucking high definition cinema quality graphics making the Final Fantasy Dark Souls. 22 years, excuse me. What's that? Final Fantasy VI Remake? I don't know. Fucking Control, Select, All, size up the sprites, and call it a day. You can do this in MS Paint. Fuck it. Anyway, what's something else you saw from E3 that you think bears speaking on?
You know what? Because I don't think it's going to be the thing we spend the most time talking about. I think we should probably talk about it now. Cyberpunk 2077 looks so cool.
Have we seen gameplay yet?
A little bit, I believe. I remember, I might have been dreaming, but I remember seeing like some walking around stuff. We haven't seen much in the way of gameplay. It's mostly been cinematics and stuff, and being told about what's going to be in the game. But say what you will about that games development company, they don't make my favorite games ever, but they fucking commit.
The game is gorgeous.
It is. Keanu Reeves is in it, and he was breathtaking. And it looks like a really cool take on the genre, and it looks like a really good game.
I'm curious to see how much they cleave to the source material.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be fucking Neuromancer, but...
No. I mean, but like literally Cyberpunk. I'm curious how much they're actually drawing from Cyberpunk. Not just
there's
genre,
there's a street samurai in it.
Sure.
Keanu has a very famous line to that effect.
He sure does. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think it looks good. I just want to see gameplay.
I would like to see gameplay also.
Like
I'm excited for gameplay.
A significant chunk of gameplay before I make a call, you know?
Oh, I'm buying this game.
I was about to say, I feel like it's going to be in the house, but before I decide my investment levels.
Like, I'm buying this game for console minimum, and this might be the game which gets me to upgrade my gaming PC so that I can play it on PC. Mm-hmm. This looks like a really good fucking video game.
I hope. Anything else strike your fancy?
Yeah, there was a couple games I watched trailers for that looked really interesting. I'm trying to remember the names of them. Elden Ring is one that looks like it might be really good. That seems like a marriage made in a really fucking depressing alternate
Westeros.
Fucking, yeah, a marriage made in Westeros. I think there's probably going to be less rape. At least I really hope so.
For those of you who, for whatever reason, are watching us and aren't in the know, that is FromSoft and specifically Miyazaki with George R.R. Martin.
Which is a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
George R.R. Martin makes depressing worlds where nothing ever goes well and everyone's a shit and people die randomly. And did I describe Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, or Dark Souls? You be the judge.
Well, especially if they get D&D on, because
then the writing will suck.
Then Dark Souls, the ending, people will be like, "What the fuck just happened? Is it over?" Okay, it'll just carry on all the good qualities. No, it looks like it's going to be another Dark Souls style game.
Much more so than Sekiro.
Yeah, which I still haven't played.
Sekiro is, and there's someone I know who is other roommate, has played a lot of it, and he has clarified for us, confirmed that it's not a Dark Souls, it's a character action game. I like character action games, so I'll probably play it eventually, but it's nice to see that there is another Dark Souls on the way.
They're just so good. And it's going to be different. I mean, but the trailer really got me sucked into the world, you know? I'm very curious. It really reminds me of the Dark Souls 1 opening.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It very much...
It's got those visual, like, tantalizations.
Theming over specific plot.
Yes, I agree. And
whereas Sekiro is much more specific plot.
Sure.
There was another one, God... Ghostwire Tokyo?
I saw an image of that, and I keep telling myself to watch the trailer, but I keep forgetting.
Near as I can tell, the premise of Ghostwire Tokyo is you play a ninja bowman. Hi, I'm the boy of the Two Nerds podcast. I've just said a sentence that means I probably want to play the video game. In a world where the rapture has happened, essentially, and like everybody's disappeared. Except for, like, a small subsect of people, and there are probably demons?
I like demons.
And then you fight them. It looked really cool. It looked like it had a lot of style. God, there was a bunch of other games that I watched trailers for. You know what? You talk. I want to try and look up a specific one.
That's fine. I can fill some time pretty handily. I feel like Nintendo won E3, as it were. From announcing Animal Crossing for March of next year, they pushed it back, but it looks amazing. They're adding in survival elements a la Minecraft or Stardew Valley. And still got that great Animal Crossing flavor. The graphics are just astounding. Like, I mean, they're still low poly and they're like cutesy, but they can put so much more into the lighting engine, and there's so much more customization. I am really looking forward to this game. I've heard a bunch of stuff about the new Mario Maker, but I'm already sold. That game sold me a Wii U.
Yeah.
I was going to buy it. I like the idea that we're getting a Breath of the Wild 2. It makes me want to go back and finish Breath of the Wild, which I bought for my Wii U, which I no longer have. So, I'm excited for other people about the Smash characters that were revealed. The Hero of Dragon Quest games And Banjo-Kazooie, I could give a shit. I hope their move lists are good. So far, the other two characters have been really good, and I could give a shit about Persona. So that's exciting. And they also announced that they are bringing... they already brought, it's out and available, the Game Boy original Secret of Mana game. It had a different title, some sort of Final Fantasy title. I forget off the top of my head. Final Fantasy Adventure, I want to say. Secret of Mana for Super Nintendo. And the third installment in that series, which has been in Japan until now, called Stateside Trials of Mana. I'm very excited to actually sit down and play it. I tried to play a ROM version of it over a decade ago and didn't get very far. I'm thrilled. I love the flexibility that Nintendo is having with their Switch as a platform. I love all the NES games they keep bringing and all like the fun challenge modes of NES games they bring to their subscription service. I've had a lot of fun just kicking around in that shit. It's phenomenal. There's been other games and there's like other modes announced. We are not going to cover everything. Definitely look into E3 on your own. I don't know why you haven't already. It was last week.
The game I was thinking of, there were two different ones. One was Control, which just looks like a very visually interesting game where you play a lady with psychic powers. Okay. You fly around, you have telekinesis, you throw shit at people. It's fun.
Oh, God, yeah. If she had a bow, you would have already bought the game somehow.
Yeah, pretty much. The other one is another Groundhog Day loop game.
Okay.
Called Deathloop. Which I don't know much about. I watched the trailer and it has like a really interesting looking style and a really interesting looking world. And it's a time loop game. I know that because I know like two things about the game. Interesting looking time loop game. It kind of seems from the trailer like you're playing like two different people stuck in a time loop who keep trying to murder each other to get out of the time loop.
That's interesting.
I might be entirely wrong about that. I've only looked sort of surface level at the game, but it looks like an interesting premise. And now I feel like we can probably spend the rest of this podcast talking about Watch Dogs Legion.
Oh, is that what you thought I had to talk a lot about?
What did you have?
Oh, please, let's talk about Watch Dogs Legion. It's going to be much more positive.
Oh, good. I kind of want to know what that was.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Watch Dogs Legion. As you know, I played all I cared to of Watch Dogs.
I treasure forever watching you slowly walk that man into the sea and ejecting the game like Papa Birch.
In my headcanon, Aiden Pierce drowned himself because he realized he was the worst TM. But anyway... Watch Dogs Legion, how much have you looked into it? Because I know you looked into it a fair bit.
Not that much. I don't think I ever even... I mean, it's... So, like, part of me is... Wow, I was going to phrase that in a way that if it came out of my mouth was really going to upset me. The phraseology I was going to use was kind of against trailer culture.
Yeah, that would have upset me, too.
No, I don't like watching trailers because they tend to spoil things. Or, if it's so early, I tend to... make expectations. And I think a lot of other people do, and they go, oh, well, these expectations I invented have not been met. So I'm very mad, yeah. I don't want to do that to myself.
My expectations are lower than my hype. I don't expect them to be able to fully deliver on the promise of this game, but I am stunned that they have the balls to make the promise.
My biggest concern is that it's not going to be as delightfully character-driven as Watch Dogs 2.
Watch Dogs 2 was really fun because the characters they were people.
Now, if there's a core cast of characters like in Watch Dogs 2 and you can just switch between them, in addition to all the other shit, awesome.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm pretty sure what it is there is like an ever-rotating, depending on your ability to keep them alive, cast of people you choose. And then the one through line is the AI assistant.
Right.
Which I actually don't hate because, like, I watched the gameplay trailer, and it's guaranteed to be a very specifically chosen section of gameplay that, you know, is kind of massaged a little bit to look nicer. It is a presentation after all. But everyone who's played the demo says they did different things, and it plays about like the gameplay trailer. And the gameplay trailer is great. It is excellent. Essentially, the loop of you is the various different people you select have like a certain number of personalities for your operatives. That, you know, is so many, I forget, it's like a pretty big number, but it's not infinite, obviously. They have a certain number of personalities for various people. And then once you select someone to go to, like, try and recruit them, essentially what happens is, as you're walking along the city, you get the watchdogs look at someone, get a little brief overview. Mm-hmm. You can scan them for more information to add them to your list of dossiers of recruitables. When you do that, the game randomly auto-generates an entire life history for them, with family members and a place where they live and problems and like one specific Mass Effect style loyalty mission you have to do to recruit them into DedSec.
I'm going to have the longest cataloged and most powerful army of homeless people.
Homeless people, or you could do all grannies. Or you could do
Watch Dogs
all
2,
skater kids.
There was nothing I wanted to do more than help out the homeless guys. Or there was no one I stole from more than the guys who were pretending to be homeless who were billionaires.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like steal from them. I went non-lethal, but I would tase them.
I occasionally instigated bum fights between them to get the lesser guys a leg up. It was good.
Yeah. But and it just randomly generates all that. And like the section they had shown, and again, from what I understand from the people who got the demo in their hands, the actual the slightly more free demo that people played was about this quality. You were looking for, you were told by the assistant, find someone who can hack drones. We need to hack drones. So the guy you start out, the guy the gameplay trailer started out as, this, very, deep London accent, very, I think the trailer called him a proper bellend. He finds someone who can hack drones, but he's about to get arrested. So he takes out the guys about arresting him and tells him to fuck off, run. And then, he gets, attacked, and he gets taken down, and he chooses to resist rather than let himself be arrested. And he, steals a taxi and drives through the city and goes to this section where there's, resistance members. But a drone comes and shoots him to death. He's dead forever. That character's gone now. And then, they integrate that into the next part where, the other characters mention, oh, God, Ian's dead or whatever. I forget the guy's name. And then they integrate that in the next part because then a different operative goes to finish this dude's, that he was trying to recruit's loyalty mission. And she finishes the loyalty mission, and they bring up in the loyalty mission that the guy who originally kept you from getting arrested died doing it, and that's part of what motivates the guy you recruited to join DedSec.
That's cool.
And if the actual game is 70% that cool just for the recruiting missions, I'm completely sold.
Yeah, that sounds really tight. It's one of those things where I worry, because even with Watch Dogs 2, I haven't finished it yet. Things got very stressful. I'm very stressed out when I play that game. I can do 3 missions at a time, and then I have to put it in the freezer with Little Women.
No one's going to get that joke.
If you got that joke, you write it in the comments section. You let me know you got that joke. Stormy.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I haven't finished it out yet, but, it's the characters that keep me going. It's doing stuff to help out Wrench. It's, all the interesting people that keep me going. So, while it might be fun, I feel like it is inviting open world game syndrome, Grand Theft Auto syndrome, more than it is preventing it. For me, specifically, as an individual. That's not a criticism of the game. I'm sure even if it's exactly as quote-unquote bad as I think it is, it's going to be fantastic for the people who want that exact thing. And that's an overarching portion of the audience. And I'm sure I'll play around with it and have fun, a little bit. I may never finish it, but whatever. You're not contractually obligated to finish games. unless you are actually contractually obligated for some reason to finish a game.
And as we stated earlier, we're not actual journalists.
Yeah, so.
Well, if you didn't have much more to say about it, what's got you making the broken arrow face, homie? What you mad about?
Pokemon. I'm not mad about Pokemon. I'm neutral about Pokemon.
Well, you don't like the dog wolf? The dog with the sword?
The world is mad about Pokemon. And I am so upset at the world about it.
All I see about the new Pokemon is dog with sword, pretty adorable sheep.
So, while E3 was still going on, Nintendo had a treehouse where they announced that not all 800 plus Pokemon were going to be available in the new games, Sword and Shield. That it was only going to be the original decks they have put together for the new region, which is the new Pokemon plus, whatever menagerie of old ones they've decided to stick in this game, which I'm fine with. I on further analysis, I think it's kind of weird for the competitive scene, but at the same time, really, at the end of the day, all that means is there's a meta now. And oh well, I mean, there are 800 plus Pokemon. That has got to be a nightmare to balance around.
You think that's why they did it?
Well, they've said it's for game balance reasons, and that makes sense. Because people have been picking apart an argument that it's for, like, graphical limitations reasons. And I feel like they could put them in the game, maybe with some delays, because Game Freak is a small team. I think maybe 18 to 20 people is what I've heard. They've never been huge. Like, they work for Nintendo. Nintendo's a colossal publisher, but, they're a tiny dev. But man, Peoples is mad. They are mad that their favorite Pokemon might not make it into the game. And I get that. I like Garbodor. He's probably not going to be in the game. Let's just be real. But that's okay. It's like, and maybe it's a Nuzlocke thing, but I'm cool to meet some new Pokemon. And all the new Pokemon they've showed off, I like all of them. There's a cool turtle guy I am really looking forward to playing with. The starters all look solid. I'm a little worried that the Score Bunny is going to be firefighting, but what else is new? But people are incensed. It's a thing. The Pokemon Reddit is 90% memes enrage at this and 10% memes laughing at the people who are enraged about this. That's a lie. 5% memes laughing at the people. 5% still Wooloo memes. But the Pokemon get big now. That's kind of stupid.
They used to have X forms where they had cool new Digivolutions.
Yeah, I would have rather seen them explore that a little bit more. Everything they've done since then has been kind of like not as good of a version of Mega Evolutions.
I like Mega Evolutions.
Yeah, those were cool. I wasn't I didn't use them a lot, but they at least had a different form.
I use Charizards all the time.
Sure.
Because it was cool.
They had a different form. You had to go hunt down their special item you needed to use for them. And, the Z moves, those were just stupid. And I could see it would be cool if, they Mega Evolved and got a new move that was like a Z move.
That'd be fine. But Z moves were broken.
Or if you had to, draw a special thing on the DS screen to do the Z move. It's still stupid, but it's at least something's happening instead of, I may now select this OP move that wins me the fight.
I may now select this move. It will win. Good.
And, it's funny to see the Pokemon get embiggened, but...
But that's about it.
That's about it, yeah. It sure is a big...
It's a good meme format.
It's a big sparky corgi.
I think that's... if the one thing that would make me sad is if all the Pokemon could get embiggened, because that means that the shortened roster means I can't make a giant Garbodor. The Trash King.
Oh, God, the dream. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh when they launch this game and he's in it.
Garbarge, I believe he would be called.
I will cackle, and I won't even feel bad about it. Not in the least. Make some new friends. They're releasing the Pokemon Home. A lot of people are like, ugh, well, there goes my living Dex. No, they are releasing a new version of the Pokemon Bank where you can put all your Pokemon. You can put your living dex. Where the fuck do you think my living dex is? It's in the Pokemon Bank. Which is not quite a living dex. I have to play the most recent game again. But that's where it is. It's not like I pull them out and like routinely pet the fuckers. You know, they just sit there on the shelf looking nice. And it's a nice shelf away from my collection. Game. Yeah, exactly. You don't need to pull them out and play with them. I mean, it makes certain things harder. And like I said, it changes competitive. But maybe it's time to change competitive so that it's not the same 6 Mons all the time. Like, people on Smogon have been bitching for ages about how it's always the same guys. They have divisions based on the fact that you only ever see the same Pokemon if you don't create divisions. This will alleviate that.
Yes, it will make new problems.
Sure, but those problems will go away with the next generation of games where they still don't have all the Pokemon.
They're Magic the Gathering it.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. There are, at present, over 800 Pokemon. We don't have a hard number yet because the games aren't out yet. But this was going to happen. There was never going to be the Pokemon game coming out where you can use all 1,000 plus Pokemon. Games have a limit to what they can do.
And Game Freak is a small studio.
And they feel bad about it. Like, the guy who was talking about it, you know, he said it regretfully. But such as it is. It's one of those things. I haven't seen any death threats yet, thankfully. But, God, it's been nothing but cancel culture and...
Well, at the very least, you know that it is very, very tightly knitted into the game, into the Pokemon fandom. Because, legitimately, I surf the rest of the internet, and all I've seen is sheep good.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon get big. Dog sword. That's all I've seen.
That's the...
Sheep sword, also.
That's the thing as well, because outside of, like, the Pokemon Reddit, I barely see any of this crap. People are just excited for the fun game, and I'm glad. I'm glad the game's going to get the support it deserves, and it's not going to kill the phenomenon of Pokemon. Please, grow up. You're not that big. I don't care how many of you are how mad.
Dude, Detective Pikachu made money. This game is not... I'm sorry to tell you this, Pokemon game fans. The Pokemon games are the least important part of Pokemon.
Nintendo doesn't make that much money on the games themselves.
The Pokemon games are essentially advertisements for the other Pokemon crap. Mm-hmm. I guarantee Pokemon Go has made more than any single Pokemon game ever. And that's a really low estimate.
I'd be surprised, but I would also believe it.
Like, I'm very comfortable with that guess. Like,
they've made a shit ton of money, I'll say that much. And then there's merchandising, just plushies and t-shirts and hats and anime and DVDs and movie tickets. And I went to see Detective Pikachu. I had a good time.
Like, I hate to break it to you guys. I like the Pokemon games, which ones I've played, but they are far and away the least important part of the Pokemon phenomenon.
Well, and it's the sense of entitlement that bothers me. Like, a lot of it is turned around, and people are being like, you know, every Pokemon is someone's favorite. And I would appreciate this movement a lot more if that was the sentiment to begin with. But it wasn't.
You think it's a cover?
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of genuine people were like, okay, but no, here's a good reason to be sad. But you know what? You can discover your new favorite. Like I said, it's a Nuzlocke thing. I'm sure that's part of why I'm not pissed.
And most people don't like Nuzlocks.
Most people don't play Nuzlocks. Comparatively, the two Reddits are vastly different in terms of subscribership, for example. But the whole point of the Nuzlocke, if you've never played one, among other rules, you catch the first Pokemon on every route. If you fail to catch that Pokemon, tough shit. It makes you play with new Pokemon. So they're okay, all your favorites, there's not going to be all the Charizards and the Pikachus. Well, it's probably going to be Pikachu, let's be real. But
yeah, there's going to be a fucking
your
Pikachu.
Your favorite original roster is not going to be in there. Or your favorite team is not going to be in there.
And also, nah, bro. Most of the original 151 are going to be in there. Those were the ones... I guarantee... Alright, I would bet if they have their integration on point, and since Game Freak is their own separate studio, they might not. But if they have their integration on point, you will see, at the very least, every Pokemon who showed up in Detective Pikachu.
Maybe. That's not a bad call. I would be... I don't think we're going to get all the starters, for example. And I said Charizard, but let's be real.
Charizard's going nowhere.
It's very, very popular. But
like, Blaziken might not make the cut.
Sure. And, like, I've seen Pokemon from other generations than the first generation. So, that's fine. I'm glad. I'm glad those are going to be in the game. I'm glad we're mixing things up a little bit.
Klefki, probably not making the cut.
Probably not making the cut, Klefki.
Vanillux, probably not making the cut.
No. And that's fine. And I don't mind that Garbodor doesn't make the cut, assuming that happens.
Ampharos.
Every new game, my biggest complaint is that I can't use the new Pokemon. It's too hard to use the new Pokemon. Y'all making it easier on me.
Yep, because it's too hard to use the new Pokemon because the old ones are right there and they're usually better.
Or they make them easier to get. And it might still be harder to get the new Pokemon, but at least say I'm Wonder Trading or something, doing a Wonderlock or something like that.
You're not going to get a billion Zubats if Zubat's not in the game.
Exactly. So, it's an opportunity. And I don't think screaming in fits of rage on the Reddit or wherever on the internet you like to scream in fits of rage is appropriate response to a game dev studio making decisions or being given decisions that were made for them about the game they're producing.
Well, all right. You have to understand. With Reddit or Tumblr or Twitter or any social media site, anyone who posts there is already 1% of the fandom.
Right.
Because of any given fandom, barring some very rare exceptions, 1% of them even go on the social media and talk about the thing they like.
Right.
I'm not subscribed to our Horizon Zero Dawn or any of the other games I really, really, really like.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that guy. So you're already 1% of the fandom. And you're not just that 1%. You've self-selected to the 1% of the 1% who are passionate enough to not just subscribe to the Reddit, but post there regularly. Mm-hmm. And then the further 1% who are dickheads. So, like, it's a tempest in a teapot. It sounds loud, but it's like fucking 17 people.
And, well, and comparatively, I'm sure it's hundreds of people. But
yeah, say it's 1,000.
Yeah.
Pokemon has billions of fans.
Yep.
If it's 1,000, if it's 10,000 people, who cares?
At this point, really, all it's doing, all it's accomplishing, especially at this point, especially since this little hurricane in a teapot, did you say? I like that.
Tempest in a teapot.
Tempest in a teapot. Especially since that's been going on for a few days now, about a week. The only thing that you're going to accomplish now is ruining Reddit with the same memes being reposted 100 times, which at least the Pokemon Reddit didn't do constantly. Until now.
I don't know what you're ruining. You're just doing Reddit. That's how, near as I can tell, that's how you do Reddit.
Most of the Reddits are like that, yeah. Pokemon, at least, was like, oh, cool, new content. God, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's just wall-to-wall Tifa. Just Tifa's on everyone's brain. The Final Fantasy Reddit, it's just Tifa.
Well, they just boobs? Boobs
I mean,
are nice.
Tifa has boobs. But, 7's back in the mindset. So they're like, oh, fuck, my original waifu, yes. So, mostly it's like cosplayers who are pretty cool. I'm just being a dick.
You don't know. That might be their waifu.
I mean, I've seen some of the comments. Some of them, it is. But that was my old man yells at Cloud. I'm really excited for the new Pokemon game. I think it looks fun. My holdout right now is that I'm worried the gameplay is going to be more like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, which was I didn't purchase because it wasn't a Pokemon game. It was a game about Pokemon, but it wasn't like a main series style RPG with collection mechanics.
It was like a Pokemon Snap equivalent?
Not even. It was like... It was the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest Pokemon.
Oh, okay. That's a really good example.
Yeah.
I'm not excited for the new Pokemon game because...
You hate corgis?
No, it's all been downhill since Pokemon X for me. Sun bored me so much I stopped playing. And I beat Pearl. That's a problem.
I think you'd enjoy Black and White. The first ones. God, the second ones don't do that to yourself. But I think you'd enjoy Black and White.
Well...
We went long.
We did.
We have an extra 3 for your E here at the ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So thank you for listening, listener. It's what you do best.
I would do a bit here where I fuck up the exit, the exit line, but I do that all the time, so it wouldn't be funny. Everything's better when nerds talk about it.